Everybody. Um, I live near the Sea of Galilee in Israel. It's a really nice place. It doesn't get cold like here. I was freeze last night in the caravan. And don't forget that Colin didn't stop talking till 5 in the morning, so we couldn't sleep. I'm just gonna share with you about my life and the things I had in my life. And I'd say my life was really rough. I had really rough life, and I'm not gonna go over all the things I had in my life, because for me as a Christian right now, I don't feel comfortable to share with you bad things I used to do. I feel really bad to share with you, but I'm gonna tell you and share with you some things I had that you would feel and you'd see like the life I had now. You see how God is awesome and He's really good God, and how He brought me from the dark to the light. So I ask you as well to forgive to excuse my language, because my third language is English. By the way, I started speaking English just last October '97, and well, yeah, I speak 4 languages fluent, other English. So I was brought in a Christian family, but my dad, before he became a Christian, he was the infamous guy in the town, and he had really bad gang, and he used to smoke and drink and all the stuff, you know what I'm talking about. And it was amazing how the Lord opened my dad's heart. My dad used to persecute the Christians that simply in our village. He was the guy who was leading all the guys to go and persecute the Christians. And if you look at my dad right now back home, he's the most popular guy in the town, that he is a Christian man, and he's like such a Christian and active man in High Galilee, and everybody knows that he's a Christian. And when he got to be a Christian, most of his friends left him, and they tried to be away from him. I mean, like, my dad is really, and if we look at him, like, we see how he's a Christian right now, and he's really thankful for God, how He saved him. And I don't know why I had the same life like my dad had. Even my dad was telling me about the things he had, what he used to do, but I didn't listen. I said, "Oh, Dad, okay, you had this life? Okay, that's fine. You had really terrible things, that's fine for me. But I won't listen to what you're saying to me unless I will experience these things." And my dad was advising to me, "No, son, don't do what you think in your mind. And I'm telling you what's right, what's wrong." But I said, "Okay, Dad, I'm telling you, I want to experience the Word first. And if I see the Word is right, or Christianity is right, I will make my choice." And because I used to go to the church since I was 7 years old, 8 years old, till 14 years old, 13 years old. But I started to see like Christian life is so boring for me. And especially I was born in a small town near the Sea of Galilee. I didn't have many Christian friends, and everybody in the town, most of my friends weren't Christians, and I couldn't like go with them for parties because, "Oh, I'm Christian." "Okay, you're a Christian, like I stay somewhere else and you guys go somewhere else." But I didn't like this at all, so I started moving. I started arguing with my dad, with my mom about Christianity. I don't want to be a Christian, all these things. 14 years old, I started moving outside. I got to know a guy, and I had that moment I got to know that guy. And that guy brought me, and he let me involved in a mafia. We call it here mafia, it's like gangs. And I started smoking since I was 13 years old. 14 years old, I started smoking drugs, hash, all these things. Get drunk, wake up in the morning like crazy. I don't know where I am. Even I was still going to school. And I used to sell drugs as well. The guy used to give me drugs, and I passed to someone else. So kid 14 years old, who's suspicion kid 14 years old? That guy was really smart. And I would make for him about $200,000 a week, even more. And he would give me lots of money, and he would take me everywhere with him. He would take me with his BMW, and everywhere, like Alex's BMW. And I thought, oh, it's brilliant life. It's such a good life. Girls, women everywhere, and music and dance and all these things. And I knew Christianity is right. And I knew that what I'm doing is really wrong. But I didn't change my life. Why? Because I said, I want first to experience life and to make that decision after. And I knew one day God will hit me really bad. I knew one day I will fall down and I won't have the chance to change my life. But I was a hard man. My heart was really hard. And I joined the army and was really hard in the army. I was involved in the commando force. And I remember one night we were supposed to fly to get into the helicopters and to go jump in the Lebanon borders and sneak into Lebanon and do our mission that night. And I was really ready. Everything was with me, and all the equipment that I had the M60, the big machine gun. And a guy came who was in the force, and he said, I'd like to go. Do you do me a favor? I said, what kind of favor is that? He said, do you want me to go instead of you in this helicopter? Because next week my girlfriend has a birthday party, and so we can swap. I said, no, well, I can't do that. I really want to be free next weekend because I have to go somewhere else as well. He said, please do me that. I think you're the only guy who would do this thing for me here, to swap with me tonight. I said, no, it was 3 in the morning that time. And he said, okay, how about I will watch over for you the night and next week, the whole week. I said, that's brilliant. It was winter time, was freezing and was really cold like here in Lebanon. So because I was supposed to stay in Lebanon outside in between like the bushes and snakes and the scorpions and all these things. I said, okay, you do that. You promise me. He said, yeah, I promise you I'll watch over for you for the night. I said, that's fine, okay. I just asked my officer that he would swap with me. He said, okay. So I said, okay, see you next week. And he got into the helicopter and because his stuff was ready. And I went in the camp in the tent and just slept in my bed because we work 4:45 every day. And it was about 3:30 I went to bed. And 4 o'clock in the morning, the camp is near Lebanon in the north side, and 4 o'clock in the morning the emergency alarm goes off. And I wake up, it's really hard for me to say that, and I wake up and 2 of the helicopters who carried 87 soldiers died, crashed together and died. I was supposed to be there, and I was shocked. 87 of my friends in that force died that night. I knew that how God was faithful for me that moment. How God was really good for me that moment. That he sent a man that he would take my job and to get into the plane in the helicopter, and I was saved, and that guy died. But I'm telling you, to be honest with you, I still was really hard, and I didn't want to say, I want to accept you, Lord. I'm really sorry to say that to you. And I say this in my heart, I'm not broken down yet. I want still to live in this life, in this world. And I kept doing all the things, and I started to see things are going really fine with me. More money coming, more selling things, more cars, all these things. And just bad life. And wake up in the morning, you don't know where you've been last night, and you stink, your clothes stink in the morning, and the whole place is smoke everywhere. And you see your friends lying on the floor and they were drunk from last night. And my dad, and I used to hear about things happening in the church and happening around. But I just didn't care. I said, who cares? I want to take my choice. I want to live my life. I don't care. And it went till one day I had a call from a girl, and she lives near the sea. She said, what you doing next weekend? I said, I'm free. She said, like to come and stay over and we have lunch and we go out for that night. I said, oh yeah, that's fine for me. So I drove to her house and we had lunch together. And she said, do you like to go surfing? It's quite a nice day, about high waves, and we can get some surf. I said, yeah, that's fine. I've never done surfing. If you want to teach me, that's fine for me. So I went surfing and with her. She went surfing in the beginning, and I was watching her, was sitting in the shore. And she done surfing, and she came outside and she said, it's your turn now. It's your turn to surf. I said, okay, how do you do that? Because I've never surfed. She just tied the rope into my foot, and I grabbed the board like a hero or a surfer or the best surfer in California. Just ran into the water. Philip knows because we went surfing the other week in Ireland. And I started into the water, and I got quite deep inside near the guys who were surfing there. I tried to catch a surf. I couldn't catch even one wave. And I started to see myself like going really far from the guys because it was windy and was quite wavy. And when it's quite wavy and windy, you see like corners in the water, currents. Don't know exactly where. And I started seeing myself, I'm pulling the current, and start to swimming back with the board, swim back to the shore. But I couldn't even move 1 inch. So I started to swim harder and harder. I even couldn't move. I started going harder and harder into the water more and more. And I released the board. I thought I could swim by myself with my power. I swim outside. But I released the board, and the board went away, and I just couldn't move at all. And I started sinking. I started panicking, and I was panicked so bad. And I was panicked, and I just didn't know what to do. That's it. It was over. I started because I knew how to swim, but it sounds like I don't know how to swim at all. I started panicking really bad, and I just started seeing myself going under the water and going up, under and up. And suddenly someone started talking into my heart. He said, hey, how are you doing? You know where you're going right now, don't you? I knew, in other words, I knew that it's over. My life is over. That's it. Because the reflection from the sun was in that lady's eyes. She couldn't see me when I was waving to her to come. And the lifeguard was quite far. And I could see that he is busy there, and he couldn't see me at all because in the sun reflection you can't see anything. And I was quite deep inside. So I knew it's over. That's it. And I started to say to myself, where I'm going right now. Do I know where I'm going right now? And I knew from my father's when he was telling me about Christianity that when you die you go to 2 places, no more. You go either to heaven or to hell. And if you don't know where you're going, it means you're going to hell. And if you are Christian, you go to heaven. If you're not Christian, you go to hell. That's it. It's a fact, and it's nothing. It's not something you can change. And I asked myself that time, am I a Christian? I couldn't answer myself. And I knew for this question there are 2 answers, yes or no. And if you say I don't know, it means no. So I started crying. I knew that God gave me all the time. A guy died for me in the helicopter, and he didn't. And I didn't accept the Lord. And now I'm going to die, and that's it. No one is going to take this thing instead for me. And I'm going to die, and that's it. And I started crying. I've never cried my whole life, and I started crying. And deep sorrow in my heart. and saying, God, please forgive me, please forgive me, please forgive me. And I knew that God won't forgive me. God already gave me so many chances in my life. It's gonna be the last chance? No, I say it's not gonna be the last chance. I knew that God, that's it. He's really mad at me, and I used to hear from my dad when he used to talk about the wrath of God and all these things. I knew God won't forgive me right now. I knew I'm gonna die. And the current was really hard, so I closed my eyes and I just waited for any minute to be in hell. But I didn't have any chance, or I didn't expect that I'll be in heaven at all. So I closed my eyes, sank into the water, and suddenly I felt someone's pulling me from my shoulders, pulled me outside the water. I looked up because I swallowed lots of water that time, but I could look up and I saw the lifeguard with his board up. He took me outside to the shore. He did the first aid for me, took all the water outside from my stomach, and he said, I'm gonna call the ambulance for you. I said, no, please don't call the ambulance, I'm really fine. And I sat on the shore about 5-6 hours crying by myself with that lady and repenting to God. And after that, two of my best friends that they were leading that gang we used and all the drugs things came to Christ. Amen. And it was like such a revival thing in the town, I came to Christ. Because I was such a famous guy. I have so many friends back home, so many friends. And in a couple of days, all my friends knew about that. And they came to see what's happening, and two of them came to Christ, and some of them were interested to hear more. And some of them came up to me the week after, and they said, if you want to be a Christian, that's fine, but something you have to know, we are not your friends anymore. I said, that's okay for me. And I started to read more books and all these things, and God opened the door for me to come to Capernwray Hall Bible School in England, near Lancaster. And I didn't have the money that time, because all my money that I used to earn, I wasted everywhere. I just didn't have money at all. So God provided for me the money, and I was a sponsored student at Capernwray. And God started working with me at Capernwray, and I got to know the Lord really good. I'm telling you, He's really good God, an awesome God. And last June, I went back home. And when I went back home, my friends could tell that I'm a new man, a new mind, new attitude, new heart. Everything is new. And they could tell that I'm really now a Christian, because they thought when I'm going abroad the country, I'm going to go back to the world, because it's Western world and all these things. But when they came to see me, they could tell that I'm a new man, new heart, new Christian. And some of them came the same, and they said, if you're going to be a Christian, you're not going to be your friends anymore. And some of them were really interested to know and to hear more about God. And I said, okay guys, you made the decision, you don't want to be with me anymore. But before you leave, let me pray for you. And I feel so bad about the time that I had. And now for me, I'm a Christian right now. And my target in this life, I don't want any more money. I'm doing voluntary work at Teen Ranch. It's near Dundee. I don't want any more money. I don't want any worldly things. What all I want right now is to serve the Lord as much as I can by the time I'm living in this earth. Because I'm telling you, young people, God is near, and God gonna give us back as much as you work and you praise His name on this earth. And I know how much it's hard to be a Christian in this life, especially for you young people. It's so hard. I know, I experienced that. It's so hard to live a Christian. And so hard when someone asks you and you say, are you a Christian? I know these situations very well. I know how much it's embarrassing. And I know that devil in this world is so wise for you. If you don't have money, your friend would come and say, you don't have money, it's fine, okay, I'll pay for you tonight, we go out somewhere. And this is how it started with me. I didn't have money. The guy, he started buying me things. And so I'm telling you, be strong, be bold, because the time is running out. And don't let the devil win the temptation. Before you do something, just think twice. If it's not enough twice, think third time. And this word is really sinful word. And that's right, we have a sinful body. That's right, we have sinful bodies, and we might fall any time. And it doesn't matter how we are Christian or how our faith is strong, but so often we would fall down and we would lose the temptation. I'm telling you from my experience of life, just be bold, be strong with the Lord. And everything we'd hear here so far, or any words you would hear from Christianity or from preachers, just put the word in practice. Because so often we would hear the word from this ear and go outside from this ear. We never put it in practice. And if we don't put the word in practice, it's all in vain. It's all in vain to come to these meetings. It's all in vain to pay for the hostel. It's all in vain to pay for gas and all these things. If we're not going to put the word in practice, it's all in vain. And now wherever I go, I do my best to preach people and to reach more souls to the Lord. And I pray. I'm not saying that I'm a perfect man. No, I'm not a perfect Christian. I still have many failures sometimes, and I ask you to pray for me. I'm not a perfect man, and no one can be perfect. That's right. But we can stand, and we can face the problems sometimes. We can face the word. And if we believe that we're going to win the temptation, we can do that. So be strong and trust the Lord in everything, and He'll be so good with you. And I know it's really hard sometimes if you pray that you want something and the will of God is not for that. Because I was praying for so many things to go so many places, but the will of God didn't come for me, which made me disappointed. But we don't know the will of God, because He has the best for us. And we have to be patient. And God is so faithful for us, and He will give us the best, because, you know, when you have a dad or a mom, your parents will do the best that they will give you the best things, and it's the same. Our Heavenly Father will give us the best in this life. So this is my story, this is my testimony, and I'm sorry if I shared with you some things from the word that I had. And I hope God will open the hearts if you're not got to know the Lord. And time is running out. And don't say that you're going to live the word, or don't say that what I used to say, I'm going to have another chance, or these things. Time is running out, and we don't know where we're going to die. And this is how I'm going to say. I'm closing that, and please pray for me, because my target in this life is to go back home. Because the people who live in Israel, they don't want to live in Israel, in the Holy Land. They are sinful people, and my target in this life is to go back home and build a Christian ministry or anything that would bring more people to the Lord. So please, if you pray sometimes, remind me in your prayers, and I'll be praying for you. And thank you for letting me to share my things with you tonight.
Thank you.